Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, the name's Button Masher, and in this video I'm just going to be playing a little bit of XDefiant, and I'm going to tell you guys 5 tips and tricks that I can tell you to make your life a little bit easier while you're playing the game. So if you're new to XDefiant, or you just seem to be struggling a little bit and think you're dying for no apparent reason, then stick around for a few minutes. And if you do learn anything in this video, please drop a like. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any other future videos. But these tips are going to be straight off the top of my head. I've got no list, no nothing. I'm just going to tell you guys some of the most important things that I find myself trying to implement into my games, and hopefully this will help you out a little bit as well. So the first tip I'm going to give you is centering. Now, if you don't know already, centering is when, if you notice on the screen there's a little dot right in the middle. I try to keep that wherever I expect my enemies to be, just to try and make me a little bit quicker, so when I ADS I'm usually already on target or close. And I also use it as a reference point when I'm hip firing. So if I'm up close and I just hit fire, I'll try and keep that little dot on my enemy just to help me out that little bit. The second thing I could probably tell you is probably movement, staying mobile, strafing while fighting. So for this one, if you're bunny hopping, that's great. That's probably the best, most effective thing you can do, but it is hard to get the hang of. Crouch spamming is probably the easier option and works not quite as good, but it'll still help. Anything you can do to keep yourself moving, make yourself a harder target and harder to kill will help you. And I can tell you now, if you're not crouch spamming or bunny hopping or sliding, then you're already at a massive disadvantage and you will find yourself dying more often than not. And also, if you didn't know, if you're sprinting and you combine a slide and then a jump at the end, it seems to make your ADS time a little bit faster. Now, I don't know if this is actually true or accurate, but I can tell you now, it definitely feels like it's faster. The third tip I could probably give you is going to be map knowledge. We'll go with map knowledge, maybe even factions. We'll combine them together. So for map knowledge, really, I can't tell you nothing. You gotta learn the map. You gotta play the game and figure out how the lanes on that particular map are flowing and where to avoid and where to go and where to expect the enemies to be sitting. And for factions, probably just play with all of them, or try and play the ones that suit your playstyle or the game mode you're playing if you're more of an objective type of player. But I can't really give you too many tips to cover factions. I can tell you that if you're more of a support type of player and you just like to play objective and you focus more on winning the game than racking up a whole bunch of kills, the best factions you could probably use are Phantom, Libertad, or even the GSK faction is not a bad option for locking down areas and just slowing the enemies up a little bit to try and give your teammates that bit more time to pick them off before they get to the objectives and things like that. But if you're more of a run and gun type of player and you just like to rack up as many kills as you want and be as fast as you can, the factions you're probably going to want to use is Echelon, Cleaners, or the Highwaymen. The added bonus of the Highwaymen is the scrap turret. You can put that down and help hold lanes or areas of the map. The fourth tip I could probably give you guys is use your minimap. I don't think a lot of people use this as much as they should. If you notice on the minimap, you'll see where the enemies are, like when they're shooting an unsuppressed weapon. And you can also see where your teammates are spawning. And if you pay attention to that, you should be able to tell which direction the enemies are. And if you notice, sometimes you'll notice a teammate dies from a certain area, and then you should know that there's an enemy sort of in that direction somewhere. And yeah, it's a real big help. Minimap's a big thing. Once you get up to, like, when you're a decent player, you probably look at the minimap just as much as anything else to try and find a thing. And it'll help you figure out the spawns and the flow of the map and where people are, and just help you rotate that little bit better. The fifth thing I could probably tell you is just remember it's just a game and have fun. Because I find that if I get tilted, I feel like I'm having a bad game, then it only gets worse. And at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, why are you really playing the game? You know what I mean? So, that's really not much of a tip, but I thought I'd better throw that in there because I find it so much better when you're actually enjoying the game, and instead of just worrying about every time you die. Probably don't try and grind for kill death ratio. Maybe try other challenges. Challenge yourself, and just keep the game fresh and fun. and that way you'll find it a lot more enjoyable, and you'll probably have better games because you're actually enjoying the game. So they're probably the 5 most important tips I could tell you right now. So that'd be centering, map knowledge, minimap, use factions that suit your ability, your playstyle, or the game mode that you're playing at the time, and just general stuff that help me out in the game is weapons. I always try and find a weapon for the right map. So if you're looking at the video now, I'm using MP7 and I'm playing on Rockefeller, where usually I'd use an assault rifle. I'm an assault rifle type of player. But, you know, if you're trying to play quick and you're trying to rush the enemies, the best gun to use is definitely going to be a submachine gun. So that's what I've went with here. Yeah, and another thing, if you are really struggling, the best thing to do is probably find someone to party up with that's actually not too bad as well. Because in this game, you'll come across a lot of 3-stack teams, 4-stack teams, and get absolutely shredded. And you know they're stacking because you'll come into another lobby and they'll all be on the same team, top of the leaderboards, or they might even have a similar name. And that can be frustrating as hell when that happens. But you just got to deal with it. Maybe try and do it yourself. And yeah, that's about it. Now, I want you to remember that these are just tips from the top of my head. I'm only a 1.7 KD and a 1.7-ish win-loss ratio player. I'm definitely not the greatest, but I'm probably far from the worst player in the game. And recently I've been loving XDefiant, so I thought I'd better share a few things for some new players. If there is any like new players out there trying to get into the game but are struggling, because I know when I first started playing this game, I was completely lost with all the factions, and I haven't really played a Call of Duty style like FPS game for a number of years. I haven't gotten into one for a number of years anyways. So I hope this helps a couple of new people out and might bring some people back to the game, hopefully. Because so far it's been good. I will say, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but in Season 2, the game seems so much harder. It's like, I'm not sure if everyone's just improving or what, but I've been struggling myself in the recent couple of weeks. So that's the reason behind this tips video, because, you know, it wasn't a couple of weeks ago, this game was pretty chill. I never used to try real hard. I used to just play the game and get good games. But lately I've been having to sweat. I've been trying and still struggling to win games. In my region, I seem to play the same handful of players over and over again. There's not enough players on to get different lobbies every time. So you kind of know when you're going to have a good game. You know the people you're going up against. You know the people you got to sweat against, and the people that are just going to be laid back and just, yeah. So that's about all I got for you guys in this video. I hope you do enjoy this one. If you did, please leave a like, maybe even subscribe. And yeah, I hope to catch you in the next one, guys. Cheers, and thanks for watching. I must say, I'll let the video play out here so you can see the ending. Let me know if you do watch to the end by telling me who wins or loses. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.